Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Real Men Being Men. Welcome to another episode of Real Men Being Men. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this evening, as I hope and I pray that we always do. We got what we call this is Real Men Being Men. We got what we call Four Square Conversation. Four Square Conversation. What is that, you might ask? That's we have four different topics, and we talk about them for 30 minutes apiece. Four different topics. We talk about them for 30 minutes apiece, but please be mindful that sometimes the topics extend and we go a little over that particular time. So if it extends and we go a little further than 30 minutes, just bear with us, man. We here having a good time. We're gonna enjoy each other's company. These are men coming there. Now, keep in mind, these are men, grown men coming together and having man conversation. But before we get started, before we go another step further, I got to go around and give everybody an opportunity to introduce themselves and say exactly who they are. I'm just a question asker, man. I'm not important. My name is just Raheem Aljamain. I'm multitasking. Y'all bear with me. I'm gonna go around and give everybody to introduce themselves. I'm gonna start I'm gonna go to my right. To my right, maybe your left, depending on where you're looking at it. But Joseph, tell everybody who you are, sir, and where you're hailing from.
All right, I'm Joseph Wheeler. I hail from the great state of Arkansas, small town called Helena, across the bridge from Tunica, Mississippi, and I reside in the Metro Atlanta area, Clayton County, and I'm the vice president for the National Action Network for Henry and Clayton County.
Good deal, good deal. We're gonna keep this thing going. And to your right, Rodney, tell everybody who you are, brother, and where you're hailing from.
Rodney Smith, residing here in Decatur, Georgia, from Stamford, Connecticut.
Big time Decatur. Don't just say it like that, brother. Say big time Decatur. Now, yes, sir. Down below him, we have Pastor. Pastor, good evening, sir. How you doing this evening? Oh, can't hear you, Pastor.
Doing great. How are you doing?
Hey, doing well, sir. Tell everybody where you're hailing from.
Sure. I'm Pastor Brown, a Tabernacle of Worship, and we're out of Morrow, Georgia.
Good deal. And to his right, his left, depending on how you look at the screen, where your screen is, and how you're holding your neck, we have Willie. Willie, tell everybody who you are, brother, and where you're hailing from.
I'm Willie Willis. I'm a longtime resident of Atlanta, currently back home in West Memphis, Arkansas, medical student and businessman.
Good deal. And via the phone, and the phone lines are open, 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. We have Captain Leonard. Leonard, good evening, sir. Tell everybody who you're on, where you're hailing from.
Good evening, real men. This is Leonard Jones. I'm currently living in Covington, Georgia, but I hail from Saginaw, Michigan. I'm the vice president of New Order National Human Rights Organization.
And you know I got to say it at least one time. From the now.
No,
Yes.
that's not it, Ryan. No one knows what you're talking about.
Good deal. I'm gonna start this thing off, and I'm gonna tell y'all something, fellas. It's the topic we're gonna start off with is real touchy. It's a real touchy topic, and I know the answer before I even ask the question, but I want you all to elaborate on it just a little bit and give some understanding. I know across the board, I know what the answer is going to be to this particular question. I'll go ahead and put that out there already. I know what the answer is going to be. But Pastor, I'm going to start off with you. What would ignite you more? What would ignite or enrage you more? Someone come up to you, Pastor, and they just slap you. Bow. Slap in your face harder they can. Bow. Or you walk into a room and turn the corner and see someone slapping your wife. What would ignite you more?
Okay, I think if I understand the question right, you're saying, would I be more angry if somebody slapped me or slapped my wife?
Yes. What would take you in more of a rage if they slap you, or you walked into a room and you turned the corner and you realize, man, that joker just slapped my wife.
Right. Yeah, that, of course, if anybody were to think about laying hands on my wife, that would take me to a different place. I've done prison ministry for 20 plus years. I just have to do it from the other side.
Okay, okay, good deal, good deal. And as I said, I wanted to have this conversation and this topic just because I know what the answer is going to be. You know, that answer is a given. If anybody loved their wife and to see somebody doing something to abuse her, I know what the answer to this question is. I just want to elaborate on that, make sure people understand what it means and what it is. Let me go to Willie. Willie, what do you say to that, man? You're a married man and someone slap you, pow, slobber out you. Would that
Well,
make you, would that enrage you more than if you turned a corner and you saw someone slap your wife?
well, it'd have to be the wife. You know, uh, I can bear it, and so it's definitely going to be my wife. You know, or
Mhm.
daughter, or something like that. I can slap my ex-wife. I'm okay with that.
Lord.
Don't nobody go up and slap my ex-wife. nobody slap me.
Lord.
But that's no longer, she's no longer my concern. She's our own person.
No, okay. Look, okay. We're gonna keep this thing going. Let me go to Joseph. Joseph, what do you say to that, brother? If what would make you more enraged? What would spark you to do something faster if someone slapped you, or if you turn the corner, you saw someone and they slap your wife? What would enrage you more?
Yeah, well, if you slap my wife, the reflex probably so fast. Shoot, I wouldn't even realize I'd have knocked the fool out of him.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly. Wow, wow. Let me go. We're gonna take this thing around the board and we're gonna go to the elder. Elder, what do you say to that? Can't hear you, sir. Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Go out and come back in. Go out and come back in. That should fix it. Rodney, what do you say to that, Rodney? Somebody come up to you, man, and in the heat of the conversation or the heat of the argument, if you will, they slap you. You will be
Well,
enraged at
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, it would
But
have to definitely be the wife, man, because
mhm,
one, it's my role to protect the family and the wife, and secondly, it's the ultimate sign of disrespect. Ultimate
mhm,
sign of disrespect. So, I mean, the
mhm.
physical thing will go away, but it's the disrespect level that I'd have a problem with.
Exactly, exactly. Captain Leonard, talk to me, brother. You know, somebody slap you, or you turn that corner and see that somebody just slapped your wife. Captain Leonard, which one would enrage you more?
Either way, you're getting a whipping and getting your hand chopped off. Either way.
Mhm. Lord.
Either way.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, if you slap my wife, one problem you're gonna have is her.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because she gonna get to you first.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And
Wow.
she's far worse than me.
Mm. Wow. Wow. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. And the reason why I wanted to ask that question, and the reason why I wanted to go there, is to get to this point right here, because like I said, I do know the answer to that question across the board, what it's going to be. But men, we are the protectors. And someone said it, I say, man, they putting the cart before my horse. But we are the protectors, and we are here to protect our wives, our families. So what, Pastor, what exactly does that responsibility entail?
It means to be just that. It's, Scripture says you're a prophet and a priest to your own home,
Mm-hmm.
and that means that you are to protect, you are to guide, you are to lead.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the priest protected the temple. He didn't just look at it every day and just pray all the time.
Mm-hmm.
He actually protected the temple. The prophet, he was the one who was able to point the way so that there would be direction. So yeah, I mean, if you step into to infiltrate or to disrupt any of that, yeah, you're gonna have a problem, because that's my assignment.
Yes.
Above pastor, above business owner, above all that other stuff. That stuff is fine and nice and cute, but I'm called to be a prophet and a priest of my own home. I got to rule that well to qualify for anything else anyway.
Exactly. That's good.
So I want to make sure that I'm taking care of everything that's under the roof that I've been blessed with. And that starts with my wife and my children.
That's good. Elder, can I hear you?
I think so. Can you hear me now?
Absolutely. Now I want to ask you that same question, Elder. Someone slapped you and it would enrage you to a certain level. But if if you are a married man and you walk around that corner at a function or wherever it is, and you see someone slap your wife, would you be more enraged by seeing that in comparison to when they slap you?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, I'm joining the group on that one. I'm sure. I mean, that's just something that's unallowable. You already know that with that territory, as husband and that's you have to take care of that. You have to take care of your wife. Like, if you don't slap her, then nobody else should slap her either.
Exactly. Exactly. There you go.
You don't slap her, right?
Right. No touching this one at all.
Yeah. Exactly. And see, my thing is the way I feel about this, and I don't usually give my opinion on this, but my thing is, if you slap me, you'll probably make it, you'll probably live. But if you slap my wife, ain't no coming back from that. Ain't no coming back, man, because hold on, all bets are off, man. I walk around that corner and I see, and you slap my wife. Oh my Lord, right there, talk to me, brother. We're supposed to be protectors. We're supposed to be the protectors. We're supposed to make sure that stuff like that doesn't happen. And to see that, it's one thing to hear somebody say, man, they just like, but if you step around that corner, you see, and this dude, man, right there, talk to me. We're protectors.
Yeah, as you asking that question, I remember the day that I got married, 30 some years ago plus. I sat in a limo of after the wedding, sat in a limo with my father-in-law. He's a big man. He was 6'3", almost 300 some pounds, real big dude. And he told me, he said, the moment I took that responsibility, I need to live up to that. And I saw the way he treated his wife and his children. So I had to at least maintain a level of protection that he gave his daughter. So the thing is, before I stepped into that role, I had to understand the responsibility I was taking in terms of providing and protecting. And with that, that led me to believe how serious that commitment was. And then after that, you're dealing with your offspring that'll be mimicking your activities.
Yeah.
And if a son sees a father punking out and backing down, you're setting a trend where there's no respect for family or life.
Exactly. So basically what I'm hearing you say is you got to be willing to die for yours.
Yes, that you signed up for it.
Yeah. That's good. Rico, good evening, sir. How you doing this evening? Rico, you there?
I can't complain at all, fellas, man. It could be better, but I'm still here.
There you go. Rico, we asking a question, and I know you're not a married man, but say you was a happily married man. And somebody come up to you, two parts, they slap you, they will probably enrage you. But if you're a happily married man, you love your wife. If you turn the corner, you cut the corner, and you see somebody slap your wife, Rico, would that enrage you more than even when you got slapped yourself?
Hold on. You say, oh yeah, if he slapped my wife,
that
definitely would enrage me more than it would if he slapped me. I've actually been in that situation before where people have did things that were disrespectful or I feel like was a violation of me. And I said, oh, you know what, I'm all right, I could take it. But then it was the shoe was on the same foot for somebody else, and I went ballistic. I was a hero, and in many of those cases it's because that person I knew, they really didn't deserve it. They couldn't take it, and they was being taken advantage of. See, it's been some time I turned the other cheek and I did them a favor. I said, well, you know what? I ain't gonna even worry about that because they really don't know that what I would do to them, ain't nothing that they want no parts of.
Exactly.
I'm gonna let them slide with that one. But then I can see it in another situation where this same person, they might really do some harm to this person that don't deserve it. And now you see me doing what most people probably thought I should have did for myself. So yeah, there have been plenty of situations where I actually fought a battle for someone else, but I didn't even fight the same battle for myself.
Joseph, how much love is that? Let's talk about the love element in it, man. To see the person that you love, that you have chosen to be your wife, God sent her to you as your helpmate, and to see someone slap her, knowing how much you care for her, knowing how much you love her, Joseph, what is your immediate reaction?
Well, hold on. Can you?
Yes, I heard you.
Now, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Well, my immediate reaction, of course, is that she's the weaker vessel. You know, I mean, now, don't get me wrong. She can take care of her own, but you know, I mean, like the other brother said, that which is in my, in my charge, and you know, that I care, then I'm not gonna let no one harm her. In fact, I try to keep my family separate from what I do in terms of my activism and so on and so forth, because I don't want nobody to even come into that area if I can help it. You know, I don't even talk about my family publicly because of that reason. Because I get all kind of nasty reaction from certain elements in society because of what I stand for and what I do. But and I know that some crazy person could want to do something like that, especially in this day and time. That's why I try my best to work hard to encourage people to be civilized, be civil toward each other. Even as we engage those forces that are trying to undermine our humanity. But I try to take very good care that none of the women folk or even the men folk that kids in my family are not exposed to certain elements.
Exactly. That's good. That's good. Let me go to, I think we have Cornelius. Cornelius, you with us, sir? Yes, sir. Cornelius, good evening, sir. How you doing this evening?
I'm good, sir. How about you? Good evening.
Doing well. Good evening to you. Cornelius, we asking a question. And you are like a lot of us on here. You're a married man. Now, if someone would come up to you, Cornelius, and slap you, you'll be enraged. You'll be angry. But would you be more angry if you walked around a corner and you saw someone slap your wife?
It's funny. I'm surprised you came back around to this. I shouldn't be. But before I answer that, you remember last week's show, and I had to get off.
Yes.
And you remember when we was talking, and I was telling you about how one of the biggest things when it comes down to us as men, when the brother had brought up about, and I brought up about being respect and feeling disrespected, and that would cause us to go there with people. You know what I'm saying? And I had to get off because I had to get back to work. But after I got off, I got to thinking about this, and I wanted to bring it back to you. And I started to call the Morning Glow the following day, but I was too tired. I had to sleep because I didn't get off to 5. And I thought about this, man. I said I was gonna bring this up. Out of all us married men on here, if you disrespect my wife, I'm gonna go. I'm 9 times 10. I'm gonna go there with you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's something that where, when my wife be telling me about some of the things that go on in her job and stuff like that, I be wanting to go up there and say something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
yeah.
I have to hold back because I gotta let her handle it.
Mm-hmm.
You know. But if a man or someone touch my wife and put their hands on her, oh yeah, I'll be more angry than myself.
Mm-hmm.
Because my love and my love for my wife goes deep, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because that's a gift that God has given me.
Absolutely.
And I care about her so much. So if I see that you disrespecting my wife, oh yeah, I'm gonna go there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know. So I stand on the word. God ain't gonna put too much on me that I can handle.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So he ain't gonna put me in that situation. But yes, to answer your question, after all that I just said, I will be more angry about someone putting my hands on my wife than more so me.
Absolutely. Willie, talk to me, brother. What's on your heart? Willie? Willie may have stepped away for a second. While we get Willie back in place and position, Leonard, talk to me, sir.
You know, just like everyone was saying, but even like, for instance, my mother-in-law can't put her hands on my wife. My wife has never had to work for anyone for this very reason. Because if you say something out the way to my wife, you're going to have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, some people may call it a problem, or I'm a little bit too aggressive in that manner. But just an occasional sign of disrespect is enough for me to start turning tables over.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Even like, you know, it always would bother me, and you know, people may want to consider it. Like when you have women now who work outside of the home, and for them to go to work, and for someone to try to take advantage of them even at work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm there.
Mm-hmm.
It's I don't even have to discuss it with nobody. You know, and so, you know, that's because I'm very respectful of people. Everywhere I go, it doesn't even matter. I'm always going to respect people.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when someone get out of line, I'm gonna make sure you never consider it again.
Mm-hmm.
And I want people to know about it so they don't consider it. That's
Exactly.
the type of scene it's going to be.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. That's good. That's good. Rico, talk to me, brother. And I think it's a love thing. I think it's an absolute love thing, man, because we love a man, quote unquote, love his wife that much that he's willing to sacrifice everything to protect her. Am I on base with that, Rico?
You on point with this love and compassion. I think they both tie hand in hand together. You know, Joseph said something big, man. He said a key word, man. And it really defines who I am all the way around, man. I don't like seeing weak people taken advantage of.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the one that bully the bullies.
Mm-hmm.
If you that type of person, especially when you doing it to somebody that I know is weak and that you know don't deserve it, that's when you might see a brave and a side of Rico that you didn't even know existed. Oh my goodness, I can't stand it. It could be a dog or a cat. It could be an animal. I don't like to see weak, living things being abused and taken advantage of. I can't stand bullies. So, you know, I'm not like Leonard, man. When it get to that point and stuff like that start happening, and I see what level of disrespect you want to go to, that's when my motto kick in. You treat me good, I treat you better. You treat me bad, cool, I treat you way worse, and you ain't gonna like it because it's gonna go way left field. And guess what? When I'm finished, I guarantee you ain't gonna do it again.
Exactly.
Guarantee you gonna know better. You gonna say, I made a mistake, and ain't nobody had to tell me what the mistake was or I was wrong with. He beat it into me.
Wow.
Whatever it was, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, you know, I'm just that type of person, man. The love, I don't know if it's just a love for a wife or a love for life. You know what I'm saying? To y'all, it might be a love for a wife, but to me, it's a love of life, a love of peace, and a love of people feeling good and not being taken advantage of. I guess that's why I've always been a representative and a defender. That's why I've always, you know, not only stood up for myself, but I always had had a real niche for sticking my nose in other people's business when other people won't say nothing. I'm the one like, well, nah, wait a minute, that ain't supposed to go on around me.
Exactly. That's good. That's good. And let me go to Willie. Willie, are you back with us, brother? Can we hear you? Willie.
Yeah, I'm having seems like I'm having a little network problem.
Okay, we can hear you.
Like,
Go
dragging.
Yeah, keep talking. We can hear you. There you go.
Okay. Okay.
Talk to me, brother.
You were asking me what now? Okay, into that.
Well, we talk about we're talking about the slap thing, and is it a love thing, or what do you think it is that would make a person go overboard outside of their character when they see their significant other get slapped?
It's a pride. It's a pride thing because you get married, you're really one person. So it's just like they slapped you. And sometimes they feel like they're being a bully to motivate you, but to some type of quick action. So they got plan for it. I mean, you walk up and you slap. I'm gonna do okay. After I make she's okay, I'm out of the way to somewhere safe. Impossible. Now, that would be time for that move in the opposite direction, because if then I can take them as a full-fledged threat. Careful. And I would, because I would take it as a threat, to my person. Why are you following me? I'm getting away from it. I'm moving away.
Yeah.
I'm taking her to safety. I'm gonna deal with you later. First thing, I want to take care of my priority, and then if that threat is still imminent, then it needs to be dealt with at that time.
That's good. That's good.
Now, on it.
Absolutely, that's good. That's good, Elder. What do you say to that, man? And I like his approach. You say, I'm gonna get her out of that situation. I'm gonna get her out of that condition that she's in, and then I'm gonna circle back around. And when I circle back around, you might not want to be there. Talk to me, Elder.
I'm not gonna circle back around now,
sir.
I'm gonna look for the threat.
Huh? Go ahead, Elder.
At the
Can't
same time.
Elder, we can't hear you, sir. We can't hear you.
You can't hear
I
me?
think if your phone ring or you get a text, sometime it'll knock you out, so you have to go out and come back in. If your phone ring or something like that, could you?
No, I'm on the computer. I'm gonna switch to.
No. Willie, we hear you.
Yeah, no, I just rebooted it. I'm gonna
Okay.
I'm gonna get on the other computer.
Okay, but yeah, Elder, we can't hear you. Let me go to while he do that. Let me go to Rodney.
Yeah, it was. I'm gonna take a little different take on this. My take would be tell you a quick story. There was back in the day, there was a young lady in a club, and somebody asked her to dance, and obviously you know how that goes. She said no. First thing comes out of his mouth is you this and that. So her approach, I thought, was very, very unique. She said, what made you think you could talk to me like this? What in my persona made you think that was acceptable? And it kind of took him off guard. So in answering your question, my thing would be, what makes you think you can smack my wife? You know what I mean? Is it something that I'm thrown off? What is it about me that made you want to attack something that I love? And then I'm gonna deal with it, because I want to make it clear, as the other brother said, that anybody watching around is not going to take that position again either. So again, we have to look at it as men. Are we giving up that kind of vibe where people can say and do what they want to our loved ones and think there's not going to be any repercussions? Where I'm from back in the day, it was like, you made a decision, you're going to live by it or die by it. So, and most people kept their mouth shut in most cases and kept their hands to themselves. So.
Exactly. Good deal. Let me see. Can I hear you, Elder? Yeah, there might be something wrong with your line over there, brother.
Dial-up network.
Yeah. Elder, call in, sir. Call in. Call in so we can make sure we can hear you. Captain, good evening, Captain. How you doing, sir?
I'm fine. Thank you for asking. How about yourself?
Hey, doing good. Good to have you, sir. I got a scenario. We're gonna finish up this scenario with you, and I want to hear your heart on what it is. Captain, you out and about, and you're at a function. Painting a picture for you. Somebody come up to you, and they slap you. Bow. I mean, slap fire out you. That would enrage you. But then you walk away for whatever you decide. I'm gonna walk away from this. I ain't gonna do that. And you turn the corner, and you see someone, and they take their hand, and they slap your wife. Which one would enrage you more?
Boy, Raheem, man, my God. I think they're smacking me, but it makes me more than them smacking my wife.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, maybe because I'm just that kind of person, man. That, you know, I practice fight with those who fight with me first.
Mm-hmm.
I practice never being aggressive. And so with anybody aggressive on me, I can have the ability to walk away, but 9 times out of 10 I won't.
Mm-hmm.
I would take it as an act of war.
Mm-hmm.
I think if I would deal with them from right there, they would never get a chance to smack my wife.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I would take care of the business and then and let God sort it out. But I don't think they would ever get to the chance to smack my wife if they smacked me first.
Mm-hmm.
That's my answer.
Okay. And see, one of the reasons why, and I said this earlier, one of the reasons why I even had this question, because people say, man, that's an obvious question. And I knew the answer for everybody that's involved in this particular platform right now. I knew what the answer would be. It would enrage us more if you see your wife getting slapped than ourselves. But I wanted to say that, Captain, just to point out how we are such protectors, and men are supposed to be such protectors of our families, of our wives, and for the people that are close to us. What does that really look like? What does that picture look like, Captain? Being the protector.
Well, I mean, ain't no question. I'm sure I just came on. I'm sure many of the men on there may, of course, take the protectors of their wife.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no question that we have to do what we have to do. If anyone aggressive on our family, of course, I think we all would be enraged. I mean, I've just given you about myself. Now, of course, I can probably handle certain assaults, and I don't know the circumstances by which this individual decided that he wanted to smack me.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, I have the option to walk away, and based upon the circumstance, and maybe I will.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, if they smack my wife, all bets are off.
Yes, sir.
I would have to jump in. I would have to jump in and save this man from my wife. I feel sorry for him. You know,
yes.
That's what I would have to do myself.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Save this poor fella from my wife.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Elder, we got you on the phone line, sir. What's on your heart?
Yes, sir. I really like what my brother just said about act of war, because really that really is what that is. It is an act of war. If someone breaks into your house at night, you're not going to have a discussion with them or talk or have any kind of psychological. There may be those opportunities that arise, but when they are really just doing something destructive to your family, then you just it's just an automatic response. It really is an automatic response.
Okay, that's good.
So all of your whatever your problem is, I can't solve that because you get a bigger problem by attacking, my wife.
That's good. That's good. We're gonna go to our second square now. And Pastor, we're gonna start it off with you, Pastor. Ask you this question. As a man, we spoke in the last square about us being protectors, and we are. We're going to protect our families at any cost. That's what we do. But as men, as black men, is our armor in any way at all damaged? Is our armor damaged?
Is our armor damaged to protect our families? What you're asking?
Our armor that we're supposed to have. Are we actually absolutely being the men that we're supposed to be, or have our armor, our protector, our shield that's supposed to be aboard us that catapult out? Has it been damaged by this whole society in which we live in? Are we damaged as black men? Are we damaged? To simplify the question.
Are we damaged? And again, I'm trying to make sure I understand. So you're asking, are we damaged?
As black men, are we damaged? Are we damaged to goods?
Okay. And you're asking that period has nothing to do with our role and right to protect our family, right?
It's just as men, period. Are we damaged?
I don't know if damaged is the right word. I would say, as black men, as men of color in this country and in this Western culture, there's plenty of deception. There's self-deception, not understanding who we are, our role, and what we're supposed to do and serve as a man. I think
not understanding who we are, is that a part of the damage that has been caused on us? Is that a part of it?
Right. It could be a part of, it's a part of what society has done and is doing. And it can also be a part of what we in our communities are not promoting and teaching. So yeah, there are things that are prevalent in our society, in our community, that has affected black men and other men of color. Yes. But there's just as much of an issue of those of us that do know, that have learned, and yet don't teach, and do not encourage, and do not mentor, and do not instill. In fact, I think the other doctor that was on the last time I was here, a couple weeks ago, even spoke to that in a manner of speaking. There's, just some of that, I believe, is as much of an issue as just society in and of itself making us quote unquote damaged goods.
Wow. Rodney, what do you say to that? And we're gonna simplify the question to break it down to its lowest common denominator. Using a math term, my wife will love that. Are we as black men, are we damaged?
I think I think for the most part, there's a lot of good black men. I'd say the majority of them are good black men.
But could they too be damaged?
Well, no. Let me clarify that. Each race of people, each race of males have their own issues. Being human, you're gonna have issues. Now, I take issue with black men not taking control of their brand or of their image. That's what's so important than being damaged, because what happens is, for every one person you see on the news,
how do they do that?
Huh?
How does one do that?
Well, let's face it. You go to a crime scene, and the news will pull the most ignorant person out and most inarticulate. Let me put it that way. and have them represent the scene when you have educated folks that are coherent and can speak clearly, stand there watching. So the news clearly picks the person that is going to boost their ratings or create that image they're looking for. So getting back to my original point, there's a lot of
let me stay right there. Let me stay right there with you for 1 second. I'm gonna ask you another question, man. Y'all bear with me. I'm make those some questions in, because we might stay on this topic for a minute. But what's more important, Rodney? The person being interviewed or the crime that was committed?
No, I think each person has to take responsibility for their own representation, all right, and for their own actions. Because a black man or whomever commits a crime, that's not indicative of all black men in that particular area.
True.
Now,
True.
if a person's interviewed by a news commentator, he has to take responsibility for his articulation or lack of, because that represents him as an individual. My issue is that the media and those that empower will put together a conglomerate or a image, a package, and string it along as if it's gospel. In reality, it's not. We have more educated black men and women in this era than there's ever been, but yet somehow they find the most inarticulate to represent us.
Okay.
So my point is that is it our responsibility? Yes, we have to take control of our branding and of our imaging. That is more so important, because what happens is if you do not do that, that image perpetuates itself to the younger ones. The reason why these young men are acting out the way they are, because the music industry understood that if they can create this image of the gangster rap and all this murder and glove, all this stuff, if they can market that and put it in our kids' head, they've won the battle, or they're winning the battle. So we have to counterbalance the negative. So unfortunately, bad news travels faster than good news. So yes, it's an uphill battle to reclaim your image, but I think there's a lot of God-fearing, strong black men that are raising a family, maintaining businesses, doing what they need to do. But they're not the ones on the news. They're not the ones that are posted in the newspapers. All right?
Okay. It's so many different ways I could take what you just said, and there's you left a lot of alleys for me to talk on. But let me go to Willie. Willie, what do you say to that, man? As a black man yourself, are black men damaged? Willie?
Well,
go ahead, brother. Oh, I heard you for a second and your volume went out. Willie, we can't hear you, brother.
Okay.
There you go.
I think that we charge ourselves with the fault of making mistakes. And we're supposed to make mistakes. We learn from that. In doing such, I just like any other man who's in charge of a family, you try and make the best decisions possible that's going to be the best and most beneficial to your family with the given information that you have. It might not be all information. You might make a mistake because you don't have this or don't have that or don't know or don't trust that, a source of information. But you're going to go out there and make the best decision. And a lot of times when that decision doesn't pan out the way someone else wants it or the way it should be, I'll see in just a second, Jack, that we feel like, oh, I made a mistake. I'm damaged. And we're looked upon that, and we downgrade our own spirit. I'm not downgrading my spirit. I'm not going to change the way I think. I've made the best decision, and I'm a man, and I'm going to stand by it, wrong or right. I stood by it. I did it. This is the reason why I did it, because I thought it was best for you. Thought it was best for my child. Thought it was best for my family. It might have not panned out that way, but we're going to start over and do it again. Learn from that. That's how I feel about that.
And to address, we have a person watching, and they said that why are we talking about this? Because all men are damaged. Yes, we understand that, but because of the fact that we're black men, we're specifically, yes, all men are damaged. Yes, all men go through what they go through. But because of the fact that we're black men, we're specifically talking about black men right now. not to negate that everybody go through the situations, not to negate that everybody have their issues, but that's not what we're talking about right now. So that's why, because of the fact that we're black men, we're addressing black men because that's who we are. Captain, what's on your heart? A black man damaged?
Well, I think it was Brother Rodney. I mean, he did a great, in my opinion, he did a great job in saying what he said. I do think that there's those who don't know it, and there's those that show it.
Mm-hmm.
There is no question. You cannot have lived in a nation or society where we are targeted because we are considered a captive people. We may not believe we are captive to this day, but we have to look at our origin, our beginning, and we were never, ever accepted or treated as equal by our captors. Now here we are about a little over 450 years since we was brought over by our forefathers to America. But how have we been treated in that 450 years or so? Have we been treated with justice? Have we been treated with equality? No, I don't think so. Every day we get up and we look in the mirror and we don't say purposely, yo, I'm black and proud. Wow, we don't do that. But we are reminded every day of our life that we're black. Not by ourselves, but by a society that seems, in my humble opinion, some hate the very shadow of us as men. Who wants to see a dominating, successful black man in America overtake or overrule a dominating white male society? That is something that we would love to see, but remember, it's always the greatest fear of our former captors. Keep them down. Never allow them to rise, that they would become the dominating force in America. We had Black Wall Street. We had demonstrated the kind of men that we are, even what you've done to us under the worst circumstance. Look how we have risen above that. So our communities are flooded with illegal guns. Is that by coincidence? Our community are flooded with drugs, especially the deadly drug, fentanyl. Is that by coincidence? Is it that we've always been the last hired and the first fired, and all of these unjustified shootings recently? Is that by? Yes. You can't come from up under that kind of trauma for 450 some years and not be damaged. Not all. Show it, but we sure enough know it.
Wow.
That's what's on my heart.
Good deal. Good deal. Joseph, what do you say to that, brother? As a black man, are we damaged?
That brother said it all. That brother said it all. Malcolm X said, they break your leg and then accuse you of being a cripple. I remember when I was a little boy, I used to walk down the hallway in the school. We had a dap. And I had a dap in my walk. And in fact, they say I still had it. I remember when Mr. Obama would walk, he had a certain swag. Because we had to tell ourselves, in spite of what society said, that we are somebody. And I used to walk like I was somebody, and I still do, because I was responding to the negative forces in this society. And I was determined to not to fulfill the prophecy of our enemy. They know who we are. Many of us don't know who we are.
And so we walk in that, that thinking. And unfortunately, self-hatred set in and we turn on each other. And that's very sad. It's a psychological condition. But we have to meditate and we have to be mindful of the fact that we were damaged in that sense. Now, we're not a damaged people. We were wounded, yes. And some of us, bought into the captors, as our brother said, the captors' plan. But when you know who you are and whose you are, you can't buy into that. I know that I'm made in the image of God, and I know they fear that because, in all parts of the world, the man represents the head of the village or the head of his society or community. And so that's why we are under attack, black men, just like the old Pharaoh tried to do in those days when he saw the Hebrews numbering and their numbers getting greater and greater. He felt threatened. And there are those who feel threatened today. And now, in fact, there's some who are saying the quiet part out loud. They fear the great replacement. When we were in slavery, the white man wanted to make us breed more so he could have more stock, more labor, more field hands. Well, the white people were trying to economize. They wanted 2 kids and a picket fence. So our numbers got bigger. And now that right there is a threat. And so whether it's in healthcare, whether it's mental health, or whether it's drugs, there's a systematic attack. And so, and damage in that way, yeah, but when you know what your enemy is doing, you strategize and you work and you don't allow your mind to be controlled by those forces. You don't give your mind to those, who mean good. You have to study other material and find out more about who you are. So yeah, I agree with my brother though. My brother laid it all out, man. He laid it out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good.
We're not damaged, but yeah. But coming through what we came through and what we still continue to go through, the ongoing systematic attack, it's enough to as one brother in the rap song said, don't push me, I'm close to the edge. I'm trying hard not to lose my head like a jungle sometimes.
Yes, sir.
Makes you wonder how you keep from going under.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Good.
Yes, sir.
Good deal. Good deal. Let me go. Let me go to. I was ready to go to somebody and we just lost him, so threw me off a little bit. Rico, you there?
Yeah, right here.
Good deal. Rico, as black men, are we damaged?
Yeah, we are damaged. Maybe not the most damaged. We are damaged to a certain extent because we are the most manipulated, the most misprogrammed. We adapted a value system, an education system, a way of life, a family structure, everything out of our order. We had to adapt to it, and now we conform to it, and we embrace it wholeheartedly. And then we try to figure out why we can't find our way out of it. Just the system of marriage, the way marriage is set up over here. If we came from Africa, they do things a little differently over there.
Yeah.
But we preach the American way. American way that wasn't even meant for us. How confusing and dysfunctional can that be for us to embrace a society, embrace a way of life, embrace a system, and want to survive in it when they didn't want us to survive in it, and it was built for us not to survive in it. We might be chasing our tails because we might be valuing the wrong thing. Look, they got us valuing paper, money. But out of all things, we'll kill each other probably for the least of it. $50, $500, $5. You got about that money, I'll do you.
Wow.
I'm coming back to me in a minute.
Okay, good deal, good deal. Leonard, as black men, and are we damaged? Are we are black men damaged here in America?
Well, no, you know my opinion on that. No, some people may be, but I don't speak for all black men.
Mm-hmm.
Because I ain't never taught. I was never taught that I was less than anybody else. So I don't deal with what a lot of other black men deal with. And a lot of times, what most of us have in common with me, with other black men, is we have a common enemy.
Mm-hmm.
See, I am God's man, so does not matter what anyone else thinks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what system you all claim to be under or what have you. I was born free. I'm still free. I've always done whatever I wanted to do, how I wanted to do it, and whenever I wanted to do it.
Is that freedom?
Well, to me it is. I don't know what you call, but if you all insist on being in change, then help yourself, but don't join me to you.
Okay. Well, no. I don't necessarily think that anybody wants to be in chain. I'm just asking a question because I'm the question asker. Is that freedom? Does that equate freedom?
You know, it's freedom to me. I was born free. I don't know nothing about being no slave.
Okay.
I ain't never had to do what nobody else wanted me to do. Ain't that something? I've always been in control of myself. I don't know why you haven't.
Well, never did I say I have not. I was just asking again. I'm the question asker, brother.
Okay.
Okay. Let me go to Tucson here with a smile. We smile like a chess kid. I don't know what the world we're about to get out of Tucson. But Tucson, let me ask you this question, brother. Are black men, are we free? Are we wounded? Not free. Are we wounded? Uh-oh.
I've been trying to. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
I would call us wounded warriors. Because I'm kind of like Leonard. I was listening to Cap. I think Cap is an undercover Baptist preacher.
He'll tell you that now. He'll tell you that. He'll tell you that. He sure will.
For real. Yeah, I'm gonna send you an invitation, Cap. Come on. Anyway, wounded warriors. And you said we are. What was your question? You said we believe we are what?
Are we wounded? The black man here in America, are we wounded? Yes.
I'm all right. I know I'm in recovery. I would say, from whatever, because you know how you say get over it. I didn't get over it long time ago, because I don't conform. I don't conform to somebody else's mindset. It's a mindset. If you think you hurt, and I'm not saying you, then that's what you are. But I'm an overcomer. I'm overcoming all this. If he has overcome, that makes me an overcomer. It's just what you believe.
Absolutely.
And then, matter of fact, I'm not only a overcomer, I'm more than an overcomer. That's where I stand. So they can do whatever they want. But I've heard that no weapon formed against me gonna prosper. So I'm good. I'm gonna be all right.
Say that, Tucson. Say that, Tucson.
Good deal. Good deal.
Yeah.
Okay, good deal. Willie, being from a HBCU, brother, what did they teach us about ourselves? What did you gather from a HBCU that let you understand that maybe we are wounded, or we in recovery, or what is that message to you? What was that message to you?
Well, both my parents were into civil rights. My mother's got some plaques in Mississippi, where she did a lot of some of her classmates, talk about that when we go down to reunions. My father, I saw him, in the Civil Rights Museum. He's locked up for sitting at an all white lunch counter in Birmingham. The Civil Rights Museum, the big picture of him. So me and my brothers, we didn't get that, that Willie Lynch syndrome so much, even though our grandparents were raised under that, under that stigma. But my father And my grandfather, my mother's father, what my dad said, he learned to be a man from. My dad's father wasn't around. But my grandfather was a guy who would walk into the white places in the 30s and 40s. My grandma would holler, "You can't go in there, that white folk gonna get you." He said, "I put my pants on one leg at a time." So that kind of passed down. It's hard for me to bend my knee, hard for me to bend my back, hard for me to claim that I'm damaged. I'm not ever gonna claim I'm damaged. I'm damaged to them because I don't bow down to them. So as far as they're concerned, I'm damaged. I'm concerned, I am not. My children say, "Oh, Dad, you this right here," and I say, "You're right," and you're gonna do the same thing. You're not gonna be bended over. And I'm saying that the Southern word, bend it over.
Yeah.
Folks, and I got daughters, so they got to stand up straight. They got to do their thing, and they're doing their thing. They're being really successful right now because they didn't bend it over. And that's my job. So I might be damaged when somebody looks down and say, "Oh, you're damaged." But no, I'm not. Because my mindset says I'm not. My offspring, my children say I'm not. My grandchildren say I'm not. I am not.
Okay. Good deal. Pastor, I see you nodding your head in approval. What's on your heart?
It's simple to me, Raheem, to be honest with you. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. If you teach a man that he is damaged, then he will be. If you teach a man he's victorious, then he will be. I understand the history. I do. And I don't deny its implications. I don't deny its effects. I don't. But I do declare that if I decree something, it will be established. And it's for me to decree it over not just my family, but every family I come in contact with. Every brother who needs to see themselves as God created them. It's my responsibility to profess that so they can then see it and respond that way. You see, I don't, if we act the victim, we will be the victim forever. But if we act like we're the victor, then that's what we will be. It doesn't matter. We may have to pick up our fists and fight. We may have to battle through some things, but we are more than conquerors. I believe more than conquerors through Christ Jesus who loved us. If I understand that I am more than a victor, I'm going to be that then. And I understand having to go through challenges. No, believe me, just like every brother that is on this panel, every brother that is on the phone has ever had to go through anything, I have had my share. But I also know that the same God who saw me through it is the one who brought me out on the other side of it. And I will trust him, and I will never declare that I'm damaged. I just can't. I won't do that.
That's good. That's good. Rodney, what's on your heart, brother? Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Can't hear you, brother. I'm about to come back to you. Can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I was listening to all the commentary in the historical context and all this other stuff. I think it's fantastic. All the brothers on this panel have lived lives fully and came to this realization as they articulated. My only issue is that we understand all this. It's the younger generation that falls prey to this. That's my concern. Anybody on this panel that's over 40 years old has battled, have proven themselves to be men. All right. The issue is, and they know this, that's why the attack is on the younger ones, and they'll get it, they'll learn it, but they're gonna have to go through some things to get to where we are. So again, we've come through the other side. We're getting there. We've got it. We've got the concept. But the ones that don't have the concept, don't have the self-esteem, don't have the religious base, don't have the foundation, they are going to be wounded before they understand before they take control of their lives. So our objective is to bring as many through as possible with less damage as possible. And that's my concern, because obviously older black men, you don't get to be 50, 60 years old in America, sane, relatively successful, not learning the system and mastering it. So we've gotten there. It's the thousands of other young men that'll be incarcerated, that'll be killed, that'll be maimed. And out of that portion, out of that group, you will get some that will survive and will come to the realization that we have. So the question for me is, how do we pull more black young men forward so they don't have to endure the scars?
That's good. That's good. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
I was thinking, along with the fact that we did go through a lot of trauma historically, you know what I'm saying? We got a lot of trauma, a lot of damage that came with that. We see it now with our young men in this drug music. You know what I'm saying? We see the statistics, can't overlook it. We also have to admit that we're the most resilient. And see, that's what I lean on. Even though I bring up the obvious, I bring up what needs to be discussed, because that's what needs to be fixed. You know, I don't believe in overlooking or ignoring the bad that's going on just because it's so much good going on. In so many cases, if you ignore the bad, it's going to get worse. Then you want to address it when it's too late. So, you know, I don't harp on the good as much, but I am knowledgeable enough and can see with my own eyes. I think everybody can, that, man, we some resilient people, man. I mean, even though some of the manipulation is to having us eating unhealthy food and embracing it as a culture, we still made some good chitlins and some good, you get what I'm saying? We made some good stuff out of that ragged scraps they gave us, but it's unhealthy. That's where the manipulation comes in. That's where the confusion comes in there. That's what we still embrace some of those negative things that we made good out of the conditions that were bad. We make the best out of the worst conditions. We some bad brothers, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, exactly.
But ask somebody. I'm telling you, we bad, man.
Yeah, absolutely. When you say better ask somebody, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Captain, what's on your heart?
Man, I'm just, you know, you ask questions that thought-provoking about it. You know, we really, you don't think about this stuff until somebody asks you, like you asking us this question, and every one of us is going deep into the regions of our minds, and you allow us not only to see, yes, you know, you could not come up under this kind of condition the many years, man, and not be damaged. But are we damaged to the point where we're not functional? I like what Brother Rodney said. I like what my brother Rico said. You know, hey, man, we some phenomenal dudes. There is not a human being on this planet that has gone through what we've gone through, and we still look good. Under the worst circumstances, we were not supposed to be survivors. Look at this. I went to the doctor the other day, and of course, he took my blood pressure. You know what the normal blood pressure is. We changed the scale. Man, if a Negro go in there and they tell him, well, your blood pressure is 180 over 99, that's damn near normal.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, they would take you and say, that's stroke level. We have changed the rules of engagement because of the level of stress. Listen to me. A level of stress. We have poked the needle. We have learned to handle stress. They're changing that. Why? Because we are original people. And we're not meant to die, but we are meant to exist. there's two types of ways of living. Either you survive or you live.
Mm-hmm.
Most of our people, most of our men, they survive. But what does it mean to survive? Surviving means is by somebody else's rules. Living is by your own.
Mm-hmm.
When I listen to Dr. Leonard, Dr. Leonard ain't surviving. Dr. Leonard's telling us, I'm living by my rules.
Mm-hmm.
Every man on this line, most of us are living, as brothers would say, if we 40 years and above. Why? Captain D is living. I'm living by my rules. I get up when I want to get up. I go to bed when I want to go to bed. I answer to what I want to answer to. I'm living. I'm not trying to make ends meet. Well, you know, I got to do this. If I don't do this, Lord, they're going to cut on my left. I'm not surviving. Most of our men are not living.
Mm-hmm.
They are surviving.
Yeah.
And when we can get to this age, so even though, Brother Leonard, thank God you one of those crabs who was in the barrel that got out the barrel. You got out the barrel, Brother Leonard. But you don't reach back and grab your brother and pull him up out the barrel. You got to say, well, you got to scrap like me, scrap. I got out. What about you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you got out on the back of the other crab. Don't forget how you got out the barrel.
Mm-hmm.
Be happy you out the barrel. But don't think that all of us has got the privilege that you got. So we're not talking about Pacific. I think brother was talking about in general.
Mm-hmm.
And in general, most of us are damaged good. In general.
Yeah.
And those on this line, thank you, brothers, for saying, I thank you, brother Rico. You are truly an example of an extraordinary man. We have overcome some of the greatest doggone odds. And we should celebrate that. But however, you still see a little residues of this trauma that I live every now and then. If you be with Captain Dennis long enough, you see the residues of my trauma. I ain't completely healed. No, I'm not completely healed. Because I'm not out of the daggone dirty water that I'm swimming in. Take me out of this dirty water, put me in some clean water. Take me out of the condition of where I become a victim and make me the victor, and I'll show you a different side of Captain Dennis. I'm sorry, that was on my heart.
Good deal.
Yes, Brother Tuesday, I am a Baptist preacher. Don't pull my cover off. Don't tell everybody. Please don't tell everybody.
Hey, Robbie, I need to say something real quick.
Go ahead.
Brother, if your blood pressure is 180/99 and they tell you it's normal, get you another doctor real quick. Okay? Another doctor real quick.
It went down, though, brother. It went down. It fluctuated. Go from one extreme to another. You're right, brother. They don't take it lightly. They don't take it lightly. They ask me, did I take my medicine today? But I get that white coat, brother, fear. Every time I go to the doctor, my blood pressure go up because I'm always worried that it's going to go up. And I'll be doggone. That's exactly what it do. They allow me a few minutes. And, I got to get that old blood pressure thing, put it on my arm and squeeze that ball.
Yeah.
That machine don't work good for me. I have to tell him, Doc, get the old school. And when he do the old school, it goes down.
Mm-hmm. It's good. It's good.
I put my white coat on. Every day I put my white coat on, my blood pressure still go up at the same time. I get nervous, and I'm wearing the white coat.
There you go. Exactly.
So you got to get used to it.
Mm-hmm.
Pretend it's green.
Pretend it's gray. Yeah, I got you. Joseph, what's on your heart, brother?
Oh man, I'm really enjoying this, brother. Y'all feeding me tonight. I'm just hearing some wonderful things. I was thinking also about what you were saying about are you free, and what does that mean? As I think about it, and we go back to the days of Nat Turner when he put the fear of God in the captive's heart, they realized that they weren't free either. Because until all of us free, ain't none of us free. And they're captive to their hate. And then we've got to continue to compete, against these oppressive mechanism that they come up with. We've got to always try to deal with the symptoms of structural racism. That's all we're dealing with, is just the symptoms of it. Is the problem don't go away unless we get rid of the problem. But you can't be a victim if you
are a freedom fighter. A freedom fighter is a warrior. You're not a victim. You know, the one thing the civil rights leaders realized, and many others realize who in the struggle, as long as you're fighting, you're not a victim. You're a warrior. And we bring change. We'll bring change because it's in us. The change is already in us because we resist any form of oppression. We assert our humanity, our manhood, and we don't care who try to undermine it. We assert it because we're made in the image of God. You can't do nothing with that. You can't put that flame out. You know, that's who we are. I don't care how long ago we were brought here from distant shores. We are who we were then. You know, even in this system, the only thing we doing is correcting it, challenging it, and undoing it. And they feel it being undone. That's why they're reacting. And I say they because you could see what's going on. I think Mr. Biden want to have a nationwide summit next month. He said he want a United We Stand summit. That's reaction. They're reacting because we have never stopped resistance. From the time we arrived on these shores, we ain't never been victims. We've always been warriors.
Exactly.
Sojourner of Truth, Harriet Tubman, Malcolm X, Frederick Douglass, you name them, we've been resistant. And I'm glad to be in the number. I thank God, you know, for the truth, because the truth is a sword. Can't nobody stand against it.
Exactly. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
Well, first of all, I was just listening, and you know, to each his own. But as I said before, I said what I said, man. I don't back down from nothing to nobody, and never have. My granddaddy wasn't no punk. My daddy wasn't no punk, and I'm not from them type of people. So people can say what they want. You can be defeated Negroes if you would like. I am not in your number and was never in your barrel. So it comes a point in time, as Brother Wheeler just said. Good to hear from you, Mr. Wheeler. I'm glad to have worked with Mr. Wheeler on a lot of different things, especially the things we did for kids at the summer basketball camp and things like that, things that we do to make our community better. I can't stand up for people sitting around talking about I'm wounded and I'm this and I'm that. I'm a fighter. I always have been a fighter. Now, if you lay down, lay down.
Let me ask you this question, Leonard. I understand what you're saying, but if a person say that they're wounded, that don't necessarily mean that they're not fighting.
Well, if a person,
I mean, in a war, there's many wounded warriors in a war situation, but they don't stop fighting.
I do.
They recognize the fact that they've been shot or they've stepped on or whatever it is, but that don't mean they stop fighting.
But you patch it up and you keep moving.
Exactly, but that does not mean they're not wounded. They're still wounded. They're still wounded.
What is this? What is this infatuation with being wounded?
There's no infatuation. There is none. My point is this right here. Because you're wounded don't mean you're giving up. Nobody said we're giving up, giving in, or rolling over and being dead. Nobody said that.
Well, how about we meet in the middle and say some of us have scars?
I can go with that. But at the same time, I can also, the question I always say that the scar symbolizes a wound.
Well, a lot of times wounded folk make a lot of excuses for why they ain't fighting.
That's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about that person. We're talking about, you know, though you are wounded, though a person can be wounded, that don't mean. I've seen people. We was talking the other day. My sister-in-law was here, and they was talking about their cousin. He's gone home to glory right now, but he was in the middle of a fight, and they was talking about how when he was in that fight, he got stabbed, but he kept fighting. He didn't even know he was stabbed until after the fight was over, and he realized he was bleeding.
I like him already.
He never stopped fighting. He never stopped fighting. But he was wounded.
Exactly. But he never stopped fighting. The problem, I think, you know, when we having conversations, so we don't mix words, is that we understand at what point do you get up? At one point do you heal? Well, like my brother just said about that, like my man here who encourages me. Willie, for instance. We may be different politically, but I remember when I first heard him, and he talked about how he raised his family and these things. He went to HBCU, and he's a proud black man. And even at his age, that brother still go back to medical school. And still trying to do more and more. He don't sit around worrying about being black or none of what people talking about, because he has set objectives for himself.
Okay.
And that's what we have to do for our young men, is we have to set objectives for them. Because
that's beautiful.
Believe it or
but,
not,
see, I want to make it clear, though. Let me say this. Let me say this to you. Hold on, let me say this to you. I just want to make sure that it's clear that we're not talking about defeated. We're not talking about rolling over dead. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the fact that wounded. I asked a question, and we took it somewhere different. But my question was, is the black man wounded? Not is the black man defeated? Not is the black man giving up? Not is the black man giving out? Not is he dead? I asked the question, is he wounded? And so
I'll sit back and listen to the wounded.
Okay. Pastor, talk to me. Pastor, you there?
First, I don't think the term was wounded. Was it?
Yes. I start off talking about the armor, and then I say I'm gonna take it to a simplest, lowest common denominator, and I say, is the black man wounded?
Damage.
Oh, okay.
Damage.
Because right, that's where we originally started.
Damaged. Okay.
Right.
You're correct.
Because I think, yeah, you're right. There's a difference between wounded and damaged. But yeah, I mean, everyone has experienced wounds. Everyone. But I do like what Leonard just said, that if we have a scar, it's evidence that there was a wound, but the wound has started to heal. There's a healing process that's begun. And I think that's what we really should be looking and thinking toward. You know, how do we get to the scar then? So we're not always talking about this open wound that's infected and we're bleeding all over the place, and now you need to amputate something. So I think that's where it comes from. And to get that is where we go into communities and we're speaking to young men and young women, because they need to understand as well that there are other ways to make money, and that there are other things that they can do, and not just popping kids out without having proper covering from man, the father. See, there's a lot of stuff that we can deal with, and we dump a lot on the men, especially black men.
Yeah.
But our culture, our society has poured some things in that we as black men need to say, stop. That's enough of that. We need to stop that. And when we can do that, we can tell our daughters, no, you need to do that. Then we can tell our young men, you need to zip up your pants. Use this head and go put something in it, and let's go. Now we can start talking about and thinking from a different perspective and thinking from a different way. And that rap music won't mean as much then. You see, if we choose to be silent, then that's when we see our communities affected. I'm not worried about no white man. I'm worried about if I don't say something that affects change in these men, who am I gonna blame? Me. Because when I go to meet my maker, he's gonna hold me accountable.
Good deal.
That's where I think we got to start thinking.
That's good. Rodney, talk to me.
Yeah, real heavy conversation. I'm enjoying it as well. I thought about the two forms that we talked about, wounds and damage. Right now, a wound could be a good thing in some degrees. It reminds you not to go back there again, not to repeat the same action that got you wounded. And as you said earlier, a wound doesn't necessarily take you out of the game.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that I'm not going to take that path again. All right. Damage is the result of you not heeding to your wounds. So again, are we damaged? I mean, everybody's got, you know, a little bit of, you know, we're born damaged to a degree, because we have baggage from our parents, we have baggage from society. We've got baggage, you know. Now the question is, do we embrace it? Do we change it, or do we live up to it? As Leonard said, do we lay down and accept it, or do we recognize that, yeah, we've got some issues. Let's work on those issues. And so at the end of the day, we all have areas that we could use improvement in. You know, to ignore them is doing a disservice to everyone around us.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hey,
Toussaint,
Rodney,
talk to. Yes, sir.
Before you go to Toussaint, I would just like to put out there Judges 6 for those who read the Bible. It talks about Gideon and how Gideon came to be who Gideon was, and what God was trying to teach the people of Israel at that time. And it was Gideon who was going to be tasked with bringing, let's say, bringing Israel back on track, so to speak. And he said, how I'm going to do it? You're going to get you some men. And he had gave certain command to picking the type of men that you would have come with you in this fight. And he says, you take them to some water and see how they drink.
Yep.
Okay. And them that flop down on their bellies and lap it up, they make the ones you take with
Those
you.
not the ones you take with you. Leave them behind.
You take the ones that take a knee. And while drinking, they still aware of everything that's going on. Those are the men that must lead this fight. Those
That's
type
good.
of men.
That's good. That's good.
Yep.
And I always love that story, man, because it says so much, and there's so much tied in that, man, about, you know, how they want to drink and they lay down on their belly and they just lose track of everything that's going on around them. But the ones that take that knee and they drinking, they're fulfilling the need, but they're still alert as to what's going on. They're not captive. Toussaint, talk to me, brother.
And then who wants to be around somebody that's scared?
Come on.
You got to take that test. Test that first.
Yes, sir.
That's where you'll find the majority of them scared. Oh, sure, they're on the field, acting like they're ready for battle, but they got a trembling in their voice. Yeah, the legs shaking. Talk a good game, but they ain't gonna do nothing. Not gonna do a thing. Running their mouth. And if you don't watch out, scared folks will either kill you or get you hurt.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Wolf tickets. Selling them in the bag. I ain't buying. Send them home. Send them home. Then probably we can get to the brook and see if anybody's alert enough that they're not only focused on what they're doing. Because here we are, we're in a fight, man. We're getting ready to get at it.
Yeah.
And here you are, all you worrying about is being thirsty. You got to be kidding me.
Got to be. We're going to transition over to another square, and we're going to start this square off with you, brother. I saw a clip earlier today, and it kind of sparked this part of the conversation. They was interviewing a couple. It was actually a couple of couples that was there, and the interviewer, the moderator, whatever you want to call it, question asker, asked the young lady, how could she assist her husband, and what can she do to help him when he's going through? And she gave it to me the best answer that I think she could have given at that particular time. She said, just be quiet. She said, just be quiet. Don't beat him down. Don't harass him. Let him have his peace for that moment so he can figure it out. And if he needs to talk to me, I'm there to talk to him. But I just be quiet. Rodney, how can our wives help us?
Well, and again, it's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times, if you have the right helpmate, she will look at it from different angles
Mm-hmm.
and give you input on things you may not see. But
Mm.
ultimately, it's your decision to make the decision.
Mm-hmm.
It's obvious. I'm riding in a car with you, and I'm telling you to turn left, and you're looking right. I'm just giving you some observation information. You're controlling the wheel. You're going to do what you have to do to save both of us. So at the end of the day, if your wife is looking out for your best interest, she's going to give you some insight on different viewpoints that you may not have thought about. And again, ultimately, it's up to you to decipher the information and make a decision that's best for your family and your environment.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Willie, how can our wives help us, brother?
Our wives are supposed to be our better half. The missing part.
So you saying we ain't hitting on nothing? Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm still going back to the wife is you. You are her.
Oh, okay.
You can't spell, she is a good speller. You can't count, she's great at it. She can't save money, you better be good at it. She's just your other part.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So
I thought you were saying something different, brother. I thought you were saying something different, but go ahead. You cleaned it up.
You're only as strong as she is.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
I was reading a book and it was talking about these millionaires, and they did a survey on these self-made millionaires and how they attained their wealth and what they did. And they were all thrifty, to say a little cheap side. But one thing they all had in common, their wives were thriftier than them.
Mm-hmm.
So they attributed that they wouldn't have made it without the wife.
Yeah.
They've been looking around. So you choose well, you choose good, and listen to her strengths. So to me, she might be the strongest one. You can put the front on, put the head on, but she got you back.
And a lot of times, I can agree with that. Some people might say, yes, in certain situations, she can't be the stronger one. In certain, maybe, like you said, dealing with the money, with the finances, she could be stronger in that area than you are. So why are you gonna go out there and try to pay all the bills when she's stronger and she know how to maneuver in that situation better than you?
Yeah, you gotta use your resources.
Use your resources, absolutely. Tucson, talk to me, brother. How can our wives help us?
By design, man. By design. We didn't create this thing, man. We just got to fall in line. He said, it's not good for us to be alone. Can you imagine what kind of conversation we would have if we was a bunch of lonely guys? A bunch of boo-boo the fools trying to get it.
Probably wouldn't have no internet either.
No,
exactly.
You ain't got enough in you, but you got to help meet. Help meet. A lot of people, it's not a helpmate. I don't need no helpmate, man. You can find a mate. Anyway.
Lord Jesus.
So it's by design. Okay, I'm gonna come back to the light, Caroline.
Okay, there you go. Lord Jesus. Rico, how can our wives help us, brother?
Man, you already asked one question about somebody slapping your wife. And you up there asking them about wife. And much as I done been through today just trying to see my son, man, I don't want to say nothing about no woman, man. I'm sick of talking about these women, man. I swear, man, this day ain't been a good day with me and the women, man.
I got you, brother. I got you. Look here.
I'm gonna let you go ahead and ride with that one, man, because I ain't a whole lot good I can say about it right now. You heard me earlier on, I seen that thing.
Yes, sir.
I want to see my son, man. I ain't got. I'm glad y'all got good women, fellas. Y'all made great decisions. I messed up. I messed up big time. I was a fool out here.
Lord.
I can't speak on why. I'm way out the loop.
There you go. Okay, good deal. Then I'm gonna go to Captain. Captain, talk to me, man. How can our wives help us?
Man, I'm glad you didn't press Brother Rico any further. You got to hear when a man say, "Leave me alone."
Yeah, exactly,
Said,
exactly.
Leonard said that a couple of times. You didn't leave Leonard alone.
Look here.
Dr. Leonard went off.
Leonard
You got to know when the old book, you got to know.
Look here.
You know, I understand. Listen,
Rico just said, "Go on now." He
said,
"Go on now. Go on, head on now. Go on, head on now."
Leave me alone, man.
Exactly.
But anyway, there's no question that Brother Toussaint said, you know, a woman there is to help me. How can a woman help a man who's going through a very difficult trial, his wife? I like what the sister said, that sometimes leave him alone.
Yeah.
You can't have a mate and be with this mate half of your life or most of your life, and she don't know you. My mama knew my father. And when my father wasn't feeling good, she would tell the kid, "All right, I better go and tell, oh, no, don't come get on about here. Daddy ain't feeling good."
Yeah, yeah.
He was the one who stood in the way of us getting on, but she knew something was wrong with her husband. My wife looked at me, trying to look in my eyes. "No, I don't like the way you. I don't see it." I said, "What you see? You look sick in the eyes." Next thing you know, here she comes bringing me up some soup. She go to work on me like a doctor.
Yeah, yeah.
And she said, "Oh, see, my pain is her pain. So if I'm going through something, she knows the best way to deal with me is like if they want, leave me alone.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't keep asking me. Don't keep trying to fix what may need some time to fix. Some things can't be fixed with a conversation.
Yeah.
Some things need time. Leave me to myself. And I'll find my way. God's going to be with me. But you keep asking, "What's wrong, honey?" For me, you think it's because of, well, just shut up and leave me alone, man. And every morning, this is God's truth, I have what you call quiet time. For 1 hour, my wife knows, do not bother me. Give me that 1 hour. Whether I'm reading, whether I'm studying, I just need 1 hour to myself. So that once she looks, is quiet time over with? Yes, over with. Now let me tell you something. The bill did, and I got to go back to that quiet time again. But I just believe a woman's ability is to know her man.
Yeah.
Every one of these brothers who are married, they know us better. Sometimes we know ourselves. And we can't hide. Now, one thing we can't do, we really can't hide what we're going through. Even our feelings. She pick it up. And I sometimes get worried because if I get sick, she gets sick. Sometimes we got the same symptoms. But God has put us, we're joined at the hip. She most certainly is the second self. She is your second self. And sometimes it's just listen to her. She knows what to do. Just leave me alone and I'll get through this.
That's good. That's good. Joseph, what do you say to that, man? How can our wives help us in this journey called life?
Well, I agree with what our brother just said. You know, they sometimes they can be quiet, but they could see things that we might overlook, and you know, and sometime in their own quiet way, they'll impart some wisdom to us. You know, now some of us might be a little knucklehead sometimes.
No.
And don't want to listen, like she'll tell us, you know, you all stop and ask for direction, you know, before GPS. But I remember many times, man, shoot, I drive until I find a major highway and then I can figure things out. But you know, they can impart wisdom to us in their own quiet way. And then sometimes, man, I've witnessed wisdom, you know, not only in my better half, but in my grandmother or my mother-in-law, or, you know, my mother, that even though they only had like a 6th grade education, but they had intuition like you wouldn't believe. And so, you know, God knows what he was doing when he said, you know, he gonna make a helpmeet for you, you know, that's fitting.
the Creator know exactly what He was doing, you know, better than we do. Sometimes some of us don't understand fully.
Come on.
What the Creator did.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just, like the brother said, get you some quiet time and take time and do a little reflection, you can see some things you might have missed.
Mm-hmm.
I know she'll see it.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Let me see who I got to go to right now. Who haven't I touched on this particular question? Let me go to Pastor. Pastor, what's on your heart?
Yeah, man. She's your rib. She's the one that protects that exposed part, that sensitive part of your heart.
Come on.
She's able to see things that you don't typically see. She does have that discernment. I love what brother was saying earlier. I think it was Rodney. You know, she helps with your blind spots. She helps with your blind spots, the stuff you don't see coming. She has a way with that discernment to see. You know, sometimes she can tell you, listen, you need to pray about that one. You need to, before you do, you need to think about that. You need to think about that. You know, she can help with that. And sometimes, you know, sometimes when your wife is just a little bit more aggressive, you know, she's got a little bit of that fire that you may not have. And she can light the fire to keep you moving, keep you pushing. Sometimes she can see more in you than you see in yourself. Yeah, it's to have the wife that God chose for you is a blessing.
Absolutely, absolutely. Leonard, what do you say to that, brother? How can our wives help us?
Well, man, your wife should be your second in command.
Come on.
She's the queen, the one that will rule in your stead. She needs to be a lot like she needs to be a lot like you. And,
Yes, sir.
And on your team and on your page and about your agenda. And you know, I would tell any man anything less is unacceptable.
Exactly.
For marriage sake.
Now, you didn't hear me just bellow out that great tune there, brother.
You know, that's probably why I didn't. Man, look, I didn't hear not one key. What key was he in, Tucson? Because I didn't notice. I didn't even hear no music playing.
I thought it was a coon in a tree.
Hey, that was straight acapella right there, brother. That was straight acapella. That was straight acapella.
The key or why? Why even do that?
Yeah. But you know, I mean, that's what it is, man. She should really be your right hand. And just like Captain Dennis was saying, my wife know when I need to be sometimes I want something, I won't even say nothing. And she'll have it in her hand.
Wow.
You know, that type of thing. And that's how close we are. Like you say, if you get sick, she's your first physician. She, like, want to say, for instance, if any reason where I can't make a decision, she makes the decision.
Yeah.
So she definitely needs to be on your team. That's what's most important. She need to be down with your plan and nobody else's plan.
Now I need y'all to explain something. We're gonna go to a little quick. I got a quick question I'm gonna ask y'all, man, before we get out of here. And Willie, I'm gonna start it off with you. Willie, explain to me the difference between wise and intelligent.
Wise and intelligent. Well, you know.
Oh, it's gonna be a long speech, y'all. It's gonna be a long speech. Well, you know. Go ahead, brother.
Wise men get old. That's the first thing I'm gonna say. A wise man lives a long time. Now, you can be intelligent. Might be for a flash in the pan or a short time. But that wise man is gonna go on for a long time. A wise man listens. He uses his eyes and his ears less than his mouth. You understand? 2 eyes, 2 ears, 1 mouth. So you should look and listen twice as much. That's what a wise man will do. And he can be intelligent. but an intelligent, wise man would know what to do. Where an intelligent one, he's just gonna you're just gonna fire off and think he's smart and ostracized. Nobody gonna listen to him at the point.
Wow. Toussaint, the difference between wise and intelligent. What is the difference between a wise man and an intelligent man? Or are they the same?
They're not the same. I think, and I thought about this, Pastor. Apollos was an intelligent, eloquent speaker, but he didn't have the wisdom of the gospel. So here come Aquila and Priscilla, say, "Come here, young man. Let me talk to you. Let me pour out some wisdom to you to add your intelligence." So intelligence is something, is some knowledge, but it's not complete, because knowledge without learning how to shut your mouth is kind of ignorant. Because now, you don't tell everybody everything.
Yeah.
Just because they want to know, that don't mean you have to say nothing. Two men, now I'll say this and you say whatever you wanted to say. Dress them up just alike. As a fact, make them identical twins. You'll never know the wise from the fool until they open their mouth.
Wow. I saw Pastor put his hand on side of his face and put a smile on that face when you was talking, brother. So I got to go to him right now. Pastor, what's on your heart? Difference between a wise man and an intelligent man.
Intelligence is the amassing of knowledge. It's the amassing of knowledge, gathering of knowledge. Wisdom is the application of that knowledge. Wisdom, being able to apply what you know. There's a lot of people that know a lot of things, but they can't really apply it, and therefore they don't have wisdom.
Wow. Rico, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me. What's the difference?
When I think of wisdom, I think of Confucius. Confucius, he could hit you with all types of different aspects of things that's like natural to mankind, like I'm gonna say oxymorons. You know, like I was speaking earlier about how, you know, where we came from, how we made the best out of the worst, but at the same time, we still it still was unhealthy. You know, so you know, it's like you see the yin and the yang, the good and the bad to it. There's always two sides and a pro and a con to everything. That's a natural human thing that most wise people can speak on and give you both sides of it, because it's part of human nature. They can give you perspectives of everybody's points of view, because that's what humans do. Where intelligent people, I think intelligence comes from being able to, I'm gonna say, analyze. I think intelligence comes from being able to use logic to do, you know, to come up with math and formulas and processes, you know, to create and design, invent. You know, I think that's where intelligence comes in. You know, you learn how the things work mechanically because of your intelligence. Like, you know, George Washington Carver, you know what I'm saying? I think he was intelligent. It sounded wise, but it was more intelligent. I think with wisdom, I think of, like I said, people that are more philosophical.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Captain, who would you walk further with, a wise man or an intelligent man?
Oh, no question. A wise man. I like what the pastor said, man. He gave a great one, man. I mean, everybody, you know, said pretty much the same thing. Yes, you know, wisdom means skillfully applying what you know. You know, you could be intelligent, but that don't mean you are skillful in applying your knowledge.
Yeah.
A person that is pretty much wise, we say the wise do speak. One thing about being wise, you know when to speak and when not to speak. That's being wise. We all have been around people that don't know how to shut their mouth.
Yes,
when you're in the presence of elders. And then you looking up and say, well, shut up.
Yeah.
And the elders, they patient enough. Wise people understand the consequences. So every step a wise person makes they try to make sure that they're looking at all of the circumstances before they put their foot down and cover all bases. Something that intelligent people don't have the patience to do. We have run, so the scriptures say, "Who rush in where wise men fear to go."
Yes, sir.
The Bible says, "Who rush in? Fools rush in where wise men fear to go." So I like what Brother said, and I agree. You know, we most certainly will walk with a wise man, because that wise man is coming from a base of experience.
Yeah.
That an intelligent man ain't even lived long enough to experience. So I would walk with a wise man. Yes, sir.
Exactly. Rodney, what would it take for an intelligent man to become that wise man?
Spiritual insight. We know that intelligence and knowledge is I would say, not carnal, but self-motivated. Wisdom is divine. It comes from higher spiritual power. It tells you when to apply the knowledge learned. An example was today I had an issue where I had all the facts, had all the information. Something in the back of my mind said, don't address it, leave it alone. And I did. It worked itself out. If I said what I wanted to say, I would have been right, but I would have created more damage. So wisdom is divine intervention and knowing when to apply the knowledge.
So basically, what I'm hearing you say is you're a wise man. That's what I'm hearing you say.
I'm getting there. I'm a work in progress.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to be clear make sure I was hearing what I was hearing now.
Well, you're right.
Got you. Leonard, talk to me, brother.
Man, knowledge is information. It's comprehension and things of that nature. It's more so related to, what you can learn. Wisdom is more about discernment of inequalities and relationships between things. And I think that's the major difference. Wisdom, and one thing, the word speaks of wisdom, that God will give you wisdom if you ask him freely. Yeah. See, there's no qualification for wisdom, but there is a qualification for intelligence. God will give you as much wisdom as you want, and he will give it to you freely. As much as you want. It's almost akin to common sense. There's no extra. You don't need to go see nobody, and it's wisdom. It's that inner quality that everyone could benefit from. And then intelligence is more how, like brother was saying, how you apply that. You may know when to use that wisdom in certain situations and things like that. Like Brother Rodney said, just wait a minute. There's a lot of times where I've learned that lesson. Don't you wait a minute.
Yeah.
You ain't always got to jump. If the spirit tells you to wait. I don't care what you think you know right now. All that you know, and you probably all right. But there's some time in between that other things may be accomplished that may not be readily seen. That would work out better. And that's where wisdom comes into play with intelligence.
That's good. Willie, talk to me, brother. What's on your heart?
Wisdom in being, I was thinking about the absence of knowledge. And when you look at someone or you think of somebody, and you say, oh, they're smart, they're intelligent. Yeah, they've read a lot of books. They're really good with numbers.
Yeah.
Can they tell you to walk down that dark alley tonight? No. I was on the island in medical school. One of my buddies, my frat brother, he said, man, let's go down here and walk these women home. And I looked down the little alley, and there they call them gaps. It was pitch black. I couldn't see nothing down there. 7 o'clock. I couldn't see nothing down there. I told myself, man, I'm not walking down there. You can walk down there if you want. I'm going right down this lighted road to this other spot, and I'll meet you down here.
Yeah.
I advise you not to go.
That was wisdom.
He's a smart guy. He's in medical school too. You know, he's no, you might call him dumb, but he's not no slow guy.
He said they might call him dumb, but he ain't no slow guy. Okay.
He's not a slow guy. But when it comes to using common sense and wisdom, because they both really go hand in hand. Brother was right. They do. I'm not going to that dark alley because I don't know where it goes. I don't know who's down there. I don't know if we're going to get around this corner and they knock us in the head. I won't take the chance.
There you go.
My wisdom says, don't do it, brother. I don't listen.
Now, all y'all on here talking about y'all wise men, man. All y'all wise men. I just want to know, man. I want to know who I'm dealing with. Let me know who I'm dealing with.
You get those scars you get along the way. The brother said, them little cuts. That's how you get wise.
There you go.
You get jabbed over here. Okay, I'm gonna look. It coming over here. Okay. The next time they come around, or the next person that comes around with that, and you hear, you go, nah, not this time.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Rodney got his arms folded like he got something on his heart. What's on your heart, brother?
No, I was just amazed at how everybody's on the same page. Different variations, but on the same page.
Yeah.
And when you were talking, the brother was right. I was thinking about the wounds. The wounds that help you develop wisdom.
Real quickly, and look at, or you're gonna get some more of them, or you're gonna obtain some more of them. I guarantee you. But anybody else have anything else they want to say before we get out of here? Good deal. I'm gonna go around right now, give everybody real briefly an opportunity to say what they want to say in their closing. We're gonna go to the phone lines first. Who we got on the phone line still? We just lost Muhammad. So Rico, in your closing, sir.
Man, it's good to be on here with everybody tonight, man. I was glad I came on in.
Me too. I'm glad you came, brother.
Look forward to coming on again tomorrow morning, man. And looks like I'm gonna be long distance again for a few more days, but I'm gonna be on that tomorrow morning, like bright and early.
Yes, sir.
Way out Wednesday.
Oh, see, he don't put it out there already. Boy, you did good. You tied both of them together on me. God almighty, ain't he got to say my little speech right now? What's it called again?
Way out Wednesday.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now I'm gonna start at the bottom, and I'm gonna work my way all the way around. Toussaint, in your closing, sir. Toussaint, can't hear you nothing you saying, bro.
Hey, how about now? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. There you go. Absolutely.
Okay, that's it. Good night.
Leave it up to Toussaint. Willie, in your closing, sir.
Thank you, brothers, for having me on and listening to me ramble on. I appreciate it, man. And you guys you got some wise men. And I'll always pick up something that I can add to my arsenal to help me and mine. And one thing I said about when the brother said reaching out to the young people, I always said this right here. Everywhere I've been, I want to reach one person. If I can get to one person, and they don't have to listen, watch and observe, and because talking, don't get it. They hear it, but when they see you doing it, they want to be an example. And if you turn one, it's gonna spread. You'll help.
Let me say something to you, Willie. Can I say something to you?
Say it, brother.
Would a wise man realize it's almost 10 o'clock and it's time to stop talking?
Oh, most definitely.
Okay.
If he wants to. But a wise man also knows that that last little 30 seconds might help somebody's life.
There you go. Okay, good. Then we're gonna leave it right there. Leonard, in your closing, sir.
Oh man, I'll go with James 1:5. If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you.
Absolutely. Rodney, in your closing, sir.
Yes, it's always a pleasure. The highlight of my week is on Tuesday nights. I really enjoy the conversation, and all of you very good men. I really appreciate meeting with you virtually every Tuesday.
Yes, sir. Likewise, brother. Likewise. Pastor, in your closing, sir.
Man, it was a blessing tonight. Enjoyed all you brothers. Learned a lot, grew a lot, and I just appreciate being with you guys.
Okay, appreciate you being here. Definitely appreciate you being here. I'm gonna go right now to Pastor Toussaint and ask him would he pray us out.
Okay,
There he froze.
Father.
Yeah.
Yeah, we come now, and oh God, we say thank you for all that you do for us, with us. Matter of fact, you don't have to do anything else, just for who you are. We give you glory and honor. And it's now, God, we ask, oh Heavenly Father, that you would give us the strength that we need to endure and withstand the fiery darts, and then stand on your word and be overcomers. We bless you for the plan that you have for our lives. God, we ask that you would help us to submit to your will and your way, yielding to the spirit and not uh, so, so, so that we can overcome the flesh. Search our hearts, and if you find anything, just bless according to your will and your way. We give you glory, honor, and praise. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Amen. It's been a great broadcast. I want to thank everybody for joining us, man. I want to thank everybody for allowing DKM Media Group and Real Men Being Men to be a part of your evening. It is now 10:02. You're about to exit Real Men Being Men. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us, because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug, because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you could do about it. Have a great night and a better tomorrow. Now we shine some of this light on you from Real Men Being Men. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in, and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? To have a great evening. Take care of each other, and please, please, please be blessed. See you in the morning. God say the same. Love you.